I am going to start a series of lectures on human physiology. Actually, human is a factory. In that factory, they are going to produce large amount of adenosine triphosphate molecule and heat. Why you need adenosine triphosphate or ATP molecules? Large amount of ATP utilized by your sodium potassium ATPase pump, which used to maintain your membrane potential. In addition to that, large amount of ATP utilized by your respiratory system, cardiovascular system. Actually, lesser amount of ATP utilized by your central nervous system. When you go into exam, zero amount of ATP utilized by your brain. Nothing come into your mind. Very good. Heat. Why you need to generate heat? For the proper function of your cells, you have to have temperature around 37 degree in your body. Your core temperature should be somewhere around 37 degree. Usual environmental temperature is somewhere around 25. Because of that, from human body to temperature loss from human body to environment. Because of that, you have to generate temperature constantly in order to maintain your temperature. So, for that production, you need various substances. Three major substances we need. One thing is water and glucose, which was taken from the gastrointestinal system, and the oxygen, which can taken from the respiratory system. Once we receive the adequate amount of fuel, we have to pump that raw material into the production site. For that pumping action, there is a well-organized circulatory system in your body. Well-organized circulatory system in your body. So, once you receive that raw material into your pumping pocket, you have to pump it into the systemic circulation. When I was a medical student, I want to know about that system thoroughly, because one day I will become a doctor. That day I have to control this system, sometimes in separate point. Because of that, I went to meet the human physiology boss, master of the boss, central nervous system. He said, we use raw material and we pump it into the production site and we generate ATP and heat. If you want to understand more regarding that things, better to go and meet them. First of all, I go and meet the mechanical engineer. He is the one responsible for pumping action. There is electrical engineers as well to electrical activity of the pump. I will discuss those things in the later. First of all, I met the mechanical engineer. There is a mechanical engineer. He is the one responsible for pumping action. And the amount of raw material coming to the production site is constantly checked by supervisor. If you receive lesser amount, he think we are not going to adequately provide the raw materials. In addition to that, there is a civil engineer. He is the one responsible for road traffic. He is the one made the road. So he should responsible. He constantly look at your vascular system, whether it is adequately enough. High pressure is there or low pressure is there. In addition to that, there is a union leader. He is the one responsible for smooth functioning of their production site. Here we send fuel as a bolus. With the single contraction, one bolus comes. Next contraction, another bolus comes. So here we send the substance as a bolus. But because of high resistance here, which was made by the union, we are constantly giving the substance into the production site, not as a bolus, because there is high pressure. In addition to that, because of there is low pressure in this system, the raw material from here to here come as a laminar flow. That means constant flow, not like bolus. Because of that, there is a man who always looking for the irrigation process of this substance. The raw material, once we utilize the fuel or raw material, we have to remove some waste product. The waste product removed by kidney, those are blood urea, nitrogen and some waste product. In addition to that, it generates carbon dioxide which can remove from the respiratory system. First of all, I met the mechanical engineer. He said, when I asked what is the function in your machine, he said that there's a lot of noise. Shall we move into the other side and discuss? Yeah, there's a lot of noise called lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. We can't hear anything with that lub-dub sound. Because of that, I decided to move into the corner side of the factory. He said, we received fuel from two major sites. I asked why. If one side failure, we have another side of fuel coming. So those two fuels are coming area is called fuel receiving area, inferior vena cava and superior vena cava. From head and neck area, your blood come via superior vena cava. From the lower limb, abdomen and pelvis, you receive blood via inferior vena cava. Once you receive the blood, it temporarily deposit in one pocket called atrium. We are going to temporarily deposit in this pocket called atrium. From this pocket to another pocket, they are sent into the another pocket by using this valve. This is a one-way valve. Then what happened is, once you receive this atria blood into the ventricle start to contract. When ventricle start in the contraction, this valve going to close because this is a one-way valve, and here another valve, that valve going to open, and your blood start to eject. That means your raw material start to eject into the production site. In addition to that, he said, here pressure somewhere around 5 to 10 millimeter mercury. Here pressure somewhere around 5 to 120. Maximum 120 millimeter mercury you can see. And here pressure, your transport system pressure or aortic pressure somewhere around 80 to 120 millimeter mercury. Then I asked from him how it functions. He said it is very simple. Truly speaking, dangerously simple mechanism is there. Once we receive the fuel, we are going to contract. Then we are going to relax. That means contraction phase followed by relaxation phase. We only have two phases, relaxation phases and contraction phases. Relaxation phase we are now called as diastolic phase. Contraction phase we are going to call as systolic phase. That means you have contraction phase, relaxation phase, diastolic phase, and contraction phase called systolic phase. For a while we think we are going to start immediately after ejection of the blood. Immediately after ejecting of the blood. To eject the blood from ventricle to aorta, you should have at least 80 millimeter of mercury pressure in order to open this valve, because here 80 millimeter mercury back pressure, here you should at least have 81 millimeter mercury pressure. 81 millimeter mercury pressure in order to open this valve. So when you start the ejection, your pressure is gradually rising to 81. With that, this valve open, aortic valve going to open. Then you start ejection. So with that ejection, your pressure in the left ventricular cavity gradually goes down. It went maximum up to 120, then gradually come down. When it come down to 71 millimeter mercury, here 80 millimeter mercury, because of that aortic valve going to close. Now your aortic valve close, here pressure somewhere around 71, here pressure 5 to 10, because of that this valve also close, because here high pressure, this valve is closed toward that side. So Now your ventricle is all two valves closed and going to relaxation. All two valves closed, going to relaxation. Because of that, volume inside that ventricle is constant because all two valves closed, and because of that relaxation, what we are calling that phase as isovolumetric relaxation. So diastolic, when the starting of the diastolic, the first phase is isovolumetric relaxation. Then followed by isovolumetric relaxation, the pressure rapidly going to go down from 71 to 50, 30, 20, and once it is less than 5, once it is less than 5 to 10, this valve going to open. This valve going to open because here pressure 5 now, here pressure 6. Because of that, atrioventricular valve or mitral valve going to open. So with that opening, the large amount of fluid which was there during the cardiac contraction rapidly come into your ventricle. So that phase called rapid ventricular filling. Rapid ventricular filling. With rapid ventricular filling, your ventricle pressure gradually goes up. Your ventricle pressure gradually goes up. Because of that, that ventricular filling now going slow and slow and slow. So because of that phase we are going to go called slow ventricular filling. Rapid ventricular filling followed by slow ventricular filling. Last part of the blood very reluctant to go into the ventricle because here pressure is too much now. Because of that, atria has to contract and push that blood into the ventricle. That's simple, like they kick the blood and in order to push that blood into left ventricle. Because of that, we are going to call it as atrial kick or atrial contraction. Atrial contraction. Once the atrial contraction occurs, the pressure in the left ventricle goes up rapidly. Because of that, here pressure is going to be more than 10 now, 10 millimeter mercury. Because of that, this atrioventricular valve or mitral valve now going to close. Now here pressure 10, this valve close. We can't open this valve because we need at least 80 millimeter mercury, 81 millimeter mercury in order to open the aortic valve. Now this chamber is closed chamber. In addition to that, now your electric current rapidly came. Because of that, your mechanical force also going to start. So your ventricular contraction going to start, but volume within the ventricle remaining constant because all two valves are currently closed. Because of that phase we are going to call as isovolumetric contraction. With the isovolumetric contraction, the pressure from 10 to increase 81. With 81, this aortic valve going to open. This aortic valve going to open. Then your ejection is started. With the ejection, pressure maximum go to 120. Then your material within the ventricle goes to go down amount lesser and lesser. Because of that, pressure gradually drop into 79. With that, your aortic valve close. So then your ejection is started. Then your aortic valve close. Because of that aortic valve closeness, here close, here pressure 79. This valve is still closed because here 10 pressure, here 79 pressure. Because of that, this valve also closed. Then your isovolumetric relaxation phase started. That means isovolumetric relaxation, rapid ventricular filling, slow ventricular filling, atrial contraction, isovolumetric contraction, ejection, then followed by rapid ventricular filling. Sorry, isovolumetric relaxation. Very good. So that means this is some kind of cyclic process. Because of that, what we are going to call it as cardiac cycle. Now you know the phases of cardiac cycle. Two major phases, diastolic and systolic. Diastolic started with isovolumetric relaxation, then followed by rapid ventricular filling, followed by slow ventricular filling, followed by atrial kicking. Very good. Then your systolic started. Very simple. It has only two phases: isovolumetric contraction and pressure rise into the, or to overcome the aortic pressure. Then your ejection is started. So pressure, that phase is called ejection. Sorry. So your cardiac cycle is these things. So shall we look what is the pressure changes during your cardiac cycle? For that, the pressure changes which happen in the left ventricle during the cardiac cycle. I already told pressure rising from 5 to 120, nearly from 5 mm mercury to 120 mm mercury. I am going to draw a graph for that. Here we have pressure axis, here we have time axis. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, here 120. Actually, your isovolumetric contraction and isovolumetric relaxation very short lasting. It is roughly about 0.05 second, very small amount. Because of that, I represent that isovolumetric contraction and isovolumetric relaxation from here. This part your isovolumetric contraction from here to here, followed by isovolumetric contraction. Your ejection phase going to start. Ejection phase from here to here, followed by your ejection phase, your isovolumetric relaxation started. I already told that phase also very short lasting. Then your isovolumetric relaxation phase going to start from here to here. Okay. Here your isovolumetric relaxation from this point to there and come up to this point, your diastole. From isovolumetric contraction and ejection belong to your systole. You already know that part. This is belong to systole. Okay, shall we see the pressure changes? Before isovolumetric contraction, pressure in the left ventricle somewhere around 10. Because of that 10, this valve going to close. This valve still cannot open, but you can pressurize the system. So somewhere around 10 before isovolumetric contraction. Until that, your pressure gradually rising. Until 10, your pressure from 5 to 10 gradually rising. Last part, you can see a little bit hump here because with the atrial contraction, sudden jerk of pressure, sudden rise of small amount of sudden rise of pressure you can see. So a small hump you can see from here to here. Then you pressurize your system until 81 because you need 81 to open this aortic valve. So now you are going to pressurize your system to 81 within your isovolumetric contraction phase. So you are going to pressurize your system into 81. What happened here is your aortic valve going to open. Aortic valve open. What happened here is your mitral valve close. With the 10 pressure, your mitral valve going to close. From here to here, no valve open. Mitral valve close, aortic valve also close. Because of that, isovolumetric contraction from here to here. With the opening of aortic valve, your ejection is started. Your pressure rising up to maximum 120. Then it gradually comes down. When somewhere around the 80 to 100, because of here pressure also now goes up. So it is not waiting until it become to 80 to close. So somewhere around 100 to 20, this because of that high pressure in the aorta, this valve going to close. So this valve going to close. Here you are, aortic valve closer. Your mitral valve is still closed, aortic valve also closed. Now you are going to relax your system, your ventricle. Because of that phase called isovolumetric relaxation. Now your pressure going to drop into 5 mm mercury from here. This what says here 5. With the 5 mm mercury pressure, your atrium is now happy. They can open mitral valve because their pressure is too much higher than the ventricle pressure. Now they open the mitral valve. The blood which was there in the previous cardiac cycle rapidly come into the left ventricle. What we call that phase as rapid ventricular filling. Then your rapid ventricular filling going to start. Then it rising pressure gradually into the 5. With the atrial contraction it went up to 10. Then your next cycle going to start. So this is how pressure change happened in the left ventricle. We will see how pressure change occur in the aorta. I already told the pressure changes in the aorta somewhere around 80 to 120. So here I am going to start pressure in the 100 level in between these two. Gradually drop pressure during the cardiac cycle. Cardiac relaxation phase, gradually aortic pressure drop because this blood going to pump into the anterior part. Because of that lesser blood remaining in the proximal aorta, so blood pressure in the proximal aorta gradually goes down. So proximal aortic pressure gradually goes down. Once it come into 80, here pressure now 81 because of that aortic valve open. So your aortic pressure somewhat lesser than your ventricle pressure from here to here. Because of that, your blood can come from ventricle to aorta. Once it come into the aortic this level, roughly about 100 level, because of the high blood pressure here now, the mean pressure somewhere around 100, here is gradually start to become dropping. Because of that, your aortic valve going to close. When aortic valve start to close, this valve suddenly come into this side and close. Because that sudden comeback, the fluid column in the aorta try to come back into the ventricle. Because of that, it create little bit hump from here to here, what we call as diprotic notch. I don't know who are the one person put this name, but it look like diprotic notch. It is easy to keep in mind. So your pressure little bit hump is there, then gradually aortic pressure start to drop. Then your next cycle going to start from here to here. This is how pressure changes happen in the aorta. We will see how pressure changes, what are the pressure changes happen in the left atrium. Left atrial pressure changes. I already told left atrial pressure varies from 5 to 10 mm mercury. So it started with somewhere around here. To fill the ventricle from atria should have little bit higher pressure than the ventricle, because otherwise blood will not come from here to here. Here pressure must be little bit higher. So it is little bit higher than here. Here mitral valve closed because pressure start rising in the left ventricle. Because of that, mitral valve closed. Now your pressure is less. With that mitral valve closed, suddenly rising in the pressure in the left atrium. I will tell how it happened. With the mitral valve closed, as aortic valve, the valve is try to bulge into the left atrium because of the pressure in the left ventricle. Because that cusp, valve plus cusp bulging, you create little bit of high pressure in the left atrium. So you can see little bit of high pressure here. Then during the cardiac cycle, blood continuously come from here to here. Because of that ventricle start filling. Because of that, your pressure gradually start to rising. This wave called A wave, that is because it is due to atrial contraction. A wave. This wave called C wave, that is because cusp bulging. This wave called V wave, that is because ventricular filling. This descent called X descent. This descent called Y descent. Shall we look where the heart sound you can see, where the area which heart sound can see in your cardiac cycle. When your mitral valve, usually as a theory, healthy valve opening does not produce sound. The closing of the valve produce vibration of the valve leaflet, because of that produce sound. Not just closing produce sound. Vibration of the closing produce sound. So here your mitral valve start close. Here. With that, from here to here, you can mitral valve vibrate. Because of that, you can see first heart sound. First heart sound usually due to what? Closing of the mitral valve and tricuspid valve. Then your second heart sound start with the aortic valve closure. It is again the revibration of the fluid column with the aortic valve closure going to produce heart sound. Otherwise not produce heart sound. So this called second heart sound. S2. This is S1. This is due to closure of aortic valve and pulmonary valve. We will see where the ECG, P wave, QRS complex and T wave should lie within your cardiac cycle. Just before, usually as a theory, before mechanical activity, you should have electrical activity. That means that cardiac depolarization should be first and then your contraction should be happen. So for that, before atrial contraction, your P wave should be there. Before atrial contraction here, your P wave here, before atrial contraction. Here to here your ventricular contraction. Before that, your QRS complex should come. So before your isovolumetric contraction, your QRS complex should come. Before your C wave, your P wave should come. From here they start relaxation. Before starting relaxation, your repolarization process of the electrical activity should happen. So before mechanically relax, your T wave should come. This is how it behavior in your cardiac cycle. P wave before atrial contraction, QRS complex before isovolumetric contraction, T wave before isovolumetric relaxation. In next lecture, I am going to teach what is the pressure volume changes in the ventricle and how it volume and pressure changes going to affect your cardiac output. Thank you very much.